So I spake, and anon he answered me, saying, Son of Atreus, why dost thou straitly question me hereof? Nay, it is not for thy good to know or learn my thought, for I tell thee, thou shalt not long be tearless, when thou hast heard it aright. For many of these were taken, and many were left, but 2 only of the leaders of the mail-coated Achaeans perished in returning. As for the battle, thou thyself wast there, and one, methinks, is yet still alive, and is holden on the wide deep. Aias, in truth, was smitten in the midst of his ships of the long oars. Poseidon at first brought him to Gyre, to the mighty rocks, and delivered him from the sea. And so he would have fled his doom, albeit hated by Athena, had he not let a proud word fall in the fatal darkening of his heart. He said that in God's despite he had escaped the great gulf of the sea, and Poseidon heard his loud boasting, and presently caught up his trident into his strong hands, and smote the rock Gyrian, and cleft it in twain. And the one part abode in his place, but the other fell into the sea, the broken piece whereon Aias sat at the first, when his heart was darkened. And the rock bore him down into the vast and heaving deep, so there he perished when he had drunk of the salt sea water. But thy brother verily escaped the fates, and avoided them in his hollow ships, for Queen Hera saved him. But now, when he was like soon to reach the steep mount of Malea, lo, the storm wind snatched him away, and bore him over the teeming deep, making great moan, to the border of the country whereof old Aegisthus dwelt. But now Aegisthus abode there, son of Thyestes. But where thence too there showed a good prospect of safe returning, and the gods changed the wind to a fair gale, and they had reached home. Then verily did Agamemnon set foot with joy upon his country's soil, and as he touched his own land he kissed it. And many were the hot tears he let fall, for he saw his land and was glad. And it was so that the watchman spied him from his tower, the watchman whom crafty Aegisthus had led and posted there, promising him for a reward 2 talents of gold. Now he kept watch for the space of a year, lest Agamemnon should pass by when he looked not, and mind him of his wild prowess. So he went to the house to bear the tidings of the shepherd of the people, and straightway Aegisthus contrived a cunning treason. He chose out of 20 of the best men in the township, and set an ambush, and on the further side of the hall he commanded to prepare a feast. Then with chariot and horses he went to bid the feast Agamemnon, shepherd of the people. But caitiff thoughts were in his heart. He brought him up to his house, all unwitting of his doom, and when he had feasted him, slew him, as one slayeth an ox at the stall. And none of the company of the Atreides that were of his following were left, nor any of the men of Aegisthus, but they were all killed in the halls. All right, we got more info on Agamemnon. I think we pretty much get it at this point. Aegisthus set the watchmen out. We've heard the story before. This is just giving more kind of textural details to it. But we get introduced to another man by the name of Aias, otherwise known as Ajax. And my little brief research here shows me that there are 2 figures named Ajax or Aias in Greek epic poems. There's Ajax the Greater, son of Telamon, and there's Ajax the Lesser, son of Olyus. And we're talking about Aias or Ajax the Lesser. Who is that dude? Who's that guy all about? He's a king of the Locrians. He was known as a fast and skilled, aggressive fighter, but less imposing than Ajax the Great, or Aias the Great. And known for recklessness, far more than honor. Which could be why... the recklessness could be what led him to do some stuff at Troy, and perhaps why the gods are punishing him. So without having the full story and details in front of me, I just have some Cliff Notes versions. I'm going to tell you to take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt, do some more research, and perhaps we'll encounter this story more in full some other time, perhaps on another project. But apparently, at Troy, Ajax the Lesser, Ajax drags away Cassandra, daughter of Priam, as she's clinging to a statue of Athena inside of her temple. And in some versions, you find this out by seeing how certain authors and poets treat certain characters and what they emphasize, what they leave out. In some versions, he then assaults her. Not great. We don't love that. We don't like to hear that. And even in some others, he commits the sacrilege within Athena's temple. So regardless of which version and how deep you go into that, it essentially counts for an offense against Athena. So when the line comes up, and so he would have fled his doom, albeit hated by Athena, had he not let a proud word fall in the fatal darkening of his heart, ... That's what causes her hatred for Aias. But not without some real drama and adventure and excitement here, because initially, he says that Proteus says Poseidon at first brought him to Gyrae and delivered him from the sea. So Poseidon saves Aias, but then, showing who Aias is, Ajax the Lesser, really leaning into the lesser part of his name, boasts how he escaped the gods' clutches. What does it say there? He said that in the gods' despite he had escaped the great gulf of the sea, and Poseidon heard his loud boasting, and presently caught up his trident into his strong hands and smote the rock. So basically, Poseidon saves Aias from Athena's wrath, puts him on a mighty rock in the sea. Aias boasts how he, sidestepped the god's wrath, and Poseidon's like, "You son of a bitch," and takes his trident and blows the rock to smithereens, essentially dragging Aias down into the sea with this massive island or rock or whatever Gyrae is. So you can start to see why people pay such intense tributes and sacrifices and offerings to the gods. If they can save you, or they can not even waylay you, they can just split the earth and consume you whole if you are really reckless and committing acts of sacrilege. And I think that elevates the peril that all of the men, including Odysseus, who continues to be kind of talked around rather than mentioned so directly, what they're all up against when taking such long voyages. But I have a feeling, folks, I got a feeling that we've learned about Agamemnon enough. We just learned about Aias. I got a feeling tomorrow's the day about Odysseus. I know it. So tune in here tomorrow with me as we learn, maybe not, what happened to Odysseus. Until then, goodbye. Odyssey is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. The show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Odyssey, written by Homer. Theme song by Neuroflow. You can support this show and other shows like it by going to patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.